Hi, Charles. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. It's great to be back on the Garson show, and it's a pick of mine, and we'll
Yeah.
announce to the world what we're doing today.
We're doing Paul McCartney's Liverpool Oratorio.
All right.
Yep.
Back on a classic.
Yep.
Tip here.
Yep.
If anybody's watched our reviews of classic, everybody knows classical works leads the connoisseur around here.
Yeah.
And I'm the newbie
Yep.
with this, but on quite a while ago, we did Paul McCartney's Standing Stone,
Yeah.
which was his second classical work. This is his first. And I had to look up what his oratorio was. It's basically like an opera.
Yeah. It's sort of like an opera, sort of where people don't really act in it. They only stand on stage and sing. But there might be a little bit of like a hand gesture or like if someone says, I'm walking over here, they might quickly walk a few feet to make it look like they're acting, but it's very minimal.
Yeah, like you set pieces,
Yeah.
probably tuxedos, gowns,
Yeah.
such. Now, this was co-wrote by a guy named Paul Davis. Are you familiar with his work?
No, not really. There was another conductor with a similar last name, Andrew Davis, who I'm more familiar with. But I looked him up, and none of the stuff that he's done is anything that I've heard. I've heard of it, but yeah, he's not really someone who I would say is like a big name conductor for the people like me. He might be for people who consider John Williams, who did Star Trek, to be a great conductor and composer, of which I'm not one of them, but many people are. And so I would say that generally, judging from this, I would prefer him over John Williams.
Yeah, that's a big thing I noticed with a lot of film soundtracks.
Yeah.
His most famous one is Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, which I haven't seen.
Me neither, so I wouldn't really know. But I thought this was Paul McCartney, to be quite honest. But
yeah,
nice guy. I guess he had a little help on this. Didn't learn to read or write music still.
Yeah.
From what I read, he still hasn't. Standing Stone he made with the help of a computer.
Yeah.
But this one I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who wrote what, or if Carl Davis is transcribed from McCartney. Who knows? There's not a lot of information on that, but
yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
But some of the singers on this are apparently big stars in that world. I'm not familiar with them until this album, but
yeah, I didn't even look.
the rough story is this is basically a very loose.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all we really need to know. Is we'll let these guys this review. It's a long album that he told me is not really that long in the comparison to some other classical pieces.
Yeah. There's some pieces that are, well, Kokranu or Khosranu, whatever his first name is, Sarabji, is it generally, if you find something only 4 or 5 hours, it's a short work. He sometimes, there's one thing he did which, if you were supposed to hear it all the way through, it's 8 hours long. So a a a 4 hour thing is not that big of a deal, comparatively. But some people get overwhelmed with that stuff. But I've heard a Morton Feldman string quartet. I heard a couple of them that were over 4 hours long, all the way through, because they're only one movement and they don't have any breaks. So but that's when you get comfortable at night, late at night, and you hope nobody's going to call you, and you're not about to sleep. That's when you hear that stuff, if you can. Some people wouldn't. Some people would say, screw this, and shut it off after 20 minutes and say, you're lucky I heard that. But
can be that way. But
yeah,
not this one for me. I'll give that away. It was about 2.5 hours. This one clocks in, but it moves along pretty nicely. So I'm ready to get into it whenever you are, Lee.
Okay, do you want to go first or me?
You can.
Okay. All right. This is movement 1, and even though I will mention when the movements start and stop before the next movement, I'm not going to mention part 2 of movement, part 3 of movement. I'll just say the movement first, and then when we get to the next movement, then I'll just say movement 2. Okay, so movement 1. Okay. War, Andante Orchestra. All right, so far it's only a beginning. Not bad, but not enough yet for me to really judge it. I'll have to hear more first. It's really like a small bit or mini overture. What do you think?
Well, it's ominous sounding. Andante, a big fan of the timpani work and the silent interludes that permeate the piece. It's only the orchestra on this first portion of the war movement. And, well, there are elements that for some reason here remind me of the work of old John Williams, as you mentioned earlier in his theme from Jaws. I'm not sure if I like that, but it does set the table pretty good if you like a reheated meal. Due to it sounding similar to other popular orchestrated works in the conventional setting that preceded. So it doesn't sound that original, but sounds okay.
Okay. What do you think of Non Nobis Solum, boys?
Well, we got some treble singing here, I believe, from a young man at the time named Jeremy Budd. So there you go. A credit to you, Mr. Budd, if you're listening. Also get some youth choral arrangement going on. There's the feel between the orchestrated parts and the singing, and when the full choir comes in, it's very powerful. Well-written piece here. Not sure if it was old Carl or Paul more here, but who cares? It's still very solid.
Okay, I put, this is very good. A good intro to what is coming next, I would assume. And now, the air raid siren slices through. Shanti. Okay. The beginning was a bit like Andrew Lloyd Webber Broadway opera, of the kind I don't like much. But the second part with the orchestra and the wordless choir I did like. What do you think?
Male character here, Shanti, he's on vocals, provided by Jerry Hadley, an American opera tenor. This one I could hear the McCartney influence on. Sounds similar to some of the incidentals on Yellow Submarine and the works of the film The Family Way in places. Until we get that blasted choral towards the end, a very powerful orchestration. To me, it's the type of song that Roger Waters can only hope to pull off as he tried on the wall with songs like this. And it's not near as long either.
Okay, what do you think of Oh Will It All End Here, Shanti?
Well, Mr. Hadley's back on lead here, and we're still dealing with the bombs from the air raid sirens. It's pretty interesting hearing what England was like dealing with the bombings in World War II. It is a tad bit melodramatic, though. The singer has fantastic diction, This is a decent mellow style track, but again, a little bit melodramatic.
Okay, I put this is more of the same Andrew Lloyd Webber type of thing, and I liked it even less than the last song. Okay, now for Mother and Father Holding Their Child, chorus. This is good, and these types of parts are more my bag. I prefer stuff like this. What do you think?
Choral piece, a cappella, and some fantastic work from the choir on the track here. It's provided by the Liverpool Philharmonic Choir. And being an ex-choir singer myself, this is inspirational to hear. And honestly say it's never been part of a choir that sounded this fantastic. Best piece of the war movement for me was this song.
Okay. What do you think of, now we're getting into movement 2. School. What do you think?
Oh, we're here at school today for the perfect education. This youth choir is back. And also some interlude from Old Shanty. They're praising sagging off, which is cutting school in American parlance. Some fun work between Old Hadley and the youth choir here. Lovely strings underneath. Has a bit of mischief underneath the music here, which matches the subject well.
Okay, but we're here in school. This one was okay. Of the regular singing parts so far, I would prefer this. It worked enough. Now for Through the School Gates, boys. I liked the adult singer and how he sang it, but musically this is a bit too pop song constructed to sound like it belongs in classical music, but that's only my taste. Other people would like it. What do you think?
Well, it's a little painful brass blast with the headmaster performed in bass voice by Willard White. This one has some good orchestration. The melody reminds me of something you hear on Grease instead of a serious piece of music. Talent here, but the melody could have been a bit more imagined. I do think the bass singing is rather good though.
Okay. What do you think of Settle Down, Boys? Or Settle Down, Boys?
A short vocal interlude with the youth choir ends with some woodwinds to segue, and that is basically what this is, just a little interlude. Necessary in context to segue, but it's nothing more than that.
Okay, but this part was okay. I liked it okay. Now for Kept in Confusion, Shanty. What do you think of this?
Oh, Old Hadley's back, and wow, what a fantastic singer he is. Also touches on the confusion of youth in school, which, while it is a normal topic, it also has a little more confusion of being a youth of the World War II era. The orchestration is lovely here, but Old Hadley shows out on this one. It was a great piece here for my ears.
Okay, but this part was also okay. I pretty much enjoyed it. Now for I'll Always Be Here, Mary D. What do you think of... Oh, I put this part was decent too. I enjoyed it. What do you think?
Well, we get a new character, his future wife, Mary D. Voice provided by a powerful soprano named Kiri T. Hanawa. I hope I said her name right. They're harmonizing hers and Hadley's very much a highlight. Also get the youth choir accent underneath. It was so good I had to run that one back. The vocal delight, musically it's just there, but it works with strong vocalizations.
Okay, what do you think of Boys? This is Your Teacher, Headmaster.
The headmaster's back. And now with another character, the teacher, Miss Eakley, provided by Miss Sally Burgess on the vocals. The teacher demands to be called sir, even though she's a woman. So it's kind of comical. Burgess pretty much speaks, as does the headmaster. I guess good to set the table. A little light interlude with a smidge of comedy.
Okay, I put, not that I liked it, because it's not my type of thing, but at least it resembles more composers like Alan Robertson, who wrote Sleigh Ride, who I don't care for much, but at least it moved away from Andrew Lloyd Webber. All right, now for Tres Conejos, Miss Inkley. What do you think of this? Oh, no, I can tell you what I think. The beginning was good until the orchestra came in, and it sounded very cutesy and Broadway-ish in a way that I didn't like. But I could understand how people might think this part is cute. What do you think?
A song that Miss Inkley demands the children learn in another language, in quotes. Now we get the headmaster barely and Hadley a shanty singing rather powerfully. It has some decent vocal harmonies going on throughout this. Actually, this one is pretty fun, and it's a great three-part, and nothing wrong with fun. And this one, in context, is fun.
All right. What do you think of Not For Ourselves, Boys?
Probably the most powerful piece of the school movement, both vocally and musically as well. In a sense, the sum up of the whole piece, or the whole movement. It's actually reworking the opening track movement. It suits its purpose, and I think it's probably the best piece of the movement, but a tad short, which is for me a strange choice to sum up the movement with a short piece.
Okay, now this is the third movement, and this is Crypt. What do you think of that? Oh, a crypt, and so it was that I had grown. Shanty. All right.
A small piece vocally provided by old Shanty, which segues with the last line dance. Nice interlude to introduce this movement, and leads nicely into the next song.
Okay, I put this part I liked. It had an authentic sound I enjoyed. And now for Dance Orchestra. I liked this quite a bit. It wasn't exactly classical music, but it worked and I liked it. What do you think?
The orchestrated piece has a slightly triumphant feel to the song. Great string work on this one. Can't always say the classical would make you want to get up and dance, but this one does a little bit, I guess. Not sure why one would want to dance in a crypt, but what the hell? Great orchestra piece here.
Okay, what do you think of I Used to Come Here When, Shanty? What do you think?
It's a duet with Willard stepping into the song as a preacher, a little Shanty. Shanty leads the piece off and we get some work together on the song. Well, a little bit. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised, as old Shanty is usually based off of McCartney, and seems like it's hit home a little bit with his life story here. Wilfred does get a moment to shine through. Sung by both. It's an enjoyable track.
Okay, I'll give it a pass because it has an authentic over-the-top type of sound to it, and its overblown dramaticism does sometimes fit into classical music, so it's okay. Now for What Am I Doing Here Now, Shanty. I like this part. It works. What do you think?
Short little piece with old Jerry Hadley in his 40-some seconds, I suppose. As for a short piece, it's again powerful, so it's a nice little track.
Okay, what do you think of I'll Always Be Here, Mary D?
Yeah, she steps back in. Old Ken Owa's vocals are easy to get lost into. Hadley has a nice part here, too. The music underneath is excellent. Another strong piece of the movement, so far, movement 3 has been very good.
All right, what do you think of Now's the Time to Tell Him, Mary D?
We close with some sadness as Shanty's father is passing away. Or has. I did the best I could to decipher the lyrics. It's implied for sure, very somber and meets the point musically. Movement 3 thus far has been my favorite movement as a whole.
Okay, I put this is a good part too. I like it. Now for movement 4, Father, Andante Lamentoso Orchestra. What do you think of that one?
Well, we're dealing with the death of Shanty's father with this very atmospheric piece. Tons of subtle woodwinds and rather exquisite violin work in the string section here. Lovely piece of work, even though a bit somber in tone, but it makes sense why.
Okay, this is quite good. I like it a lot. Now for Oh Father, Mourners. Okay, this is quite good too. Very good. What do you think?
Sally Burgess taking on the vocals of Chief Mourner with the children's choir underneath, accenting her work. Another exciting singer here. I must admit, I think I actually like her voice a tad bit better than old Miss Anna was. Fantastic little number here, oh Father, you have given.
And now this next one is also called "O Father Mourners." What do you think of that one?
Powerful piece led by the male voices, excellent with the youth choir. I'd have to believe McCartney had to have extreme satisfaction listening to his work with this powerful group of folks doing it. So hats off to the orchestra and choir here.
Okay, but this is probably another part of the last piece, or maybe a different part with the same name, but it's good too. And now for "Hey, Wait a Minute" Shanty. Okay, this has some complexity and quite good. One of the more interesting moments. What do you think?
You got Shanty again. The tone was a bit more of the anger portion of grief here. This one melodically, at least to my amateur ears, has a hallmark of McCartney. I do wonder who had more guiding force here, Davis or Paul. I guess it doesn't matter, but I hear McCartney more here. Solid number.
Okay, what do you think of "Father" chorus?
More choir power here was an absolutely fantastic playing from the orchestra. The choir harmonizing is truly a highlight here. Great harmonizing. Hadley and Burgess have sections on the song as well. Longest track in the movement. Wonderfully powerful piece. And stack it up to movement 3 as a whole as far as my enjoyment level.
Okay, now for movement 5, "Winning." What do you think of Andante Amoroso Orchestra? What do you think of that?
So this is the story how Shanty and Mary D go ahead and get hitched. And by songs, the shortest movement in the complete piece, 3 songs we open up with the longest one here. Lyrically, sometimes it's a bit head scratching because you don't seem like they're starting off great. She sings "As Long as You Have Time for Me," and he's basically like, I guess I should be okay with this. I suppose it's a bit realistic. Well done, but head scratcher lyrically. It does end excellently though.
Okay, I put this part is more like the parts I'm not as much into. A bit too Andrew Lloyd Webber for my taste. And now for "Father, Hear Our Humble Voices." Boys. This part I like. It's like traditional church music and it's good. What do you think?
Yeah, it's children's choir harmonizing with the preacher here. The choir is the highlight here. We also get some wonderful vocals from both female singers on the track. A nice little number.
Okay, what do you think of "Hosanna, Hosanna" chorus?
The choir blasts through here at full power. Mary D and Shanty sing together in harmony. Another lovely piece. But this is a rather short movement, and it's mid as far as the kids say in the whole movement as a whole for me. Yeah, it's middle of the road.
Okay, I put might as well put an authentic church hymn in it. It works. I dig it. And now for movement 6, "Work." Allegro Energico Orchestra. What do you all right, I like this a lot. Interesting music. What do you think?
An orchestrated segue to open the movement here. Boy, if only I heard this sound when heading out to work. I usually don't hear anything. Makes sense in the album, though, due to the working class nature of Liverpool, so it's a nice opening to the movement.
Okay, what do you think of "Working Women at the Top" women's chorus?
The females in the choir step up, leading into Mary D singing solo. Sounds to me as if she's a secretary in the song, which the track has a somewhat frantic feel, which works, as this is them having a million things going on at a job. So, wow, I think I'm going to take it back. Old Tana she was awesome on this one. She can nail those high notes, and she shows it off here. Musically frantic and powerful. I got a rise out of this one.
Okay, I put this is somewhat like Gilbert and Sullivan, and that's not a bad thing. I like it. Now for violin solo. This is decent. I'm glad there was a part for a violin solo in it. What did you think?
So it's called violin solo. You know, the solo from the violin has some atmospheric orchestration underneath, though. Some exquisite playing in the violin, great trills and portions. It's a wonderful piece, and it does seem to know when to break things up. Those parts of it get you relaxed to the point of almost putting you to sleep, but not out of boredom, but just pure relaxation. Thankfully, it comes out of that and really has some great moments to jar you out of that mindset. So, the violin solo was a winner for me.
Okay. What did you think of Did I Sign the Letter, Mary D?
Well, she's back now. I suppose the violin solo was her coffee break, and she's back frantic again here. The women in the choir back her up nicely on this one as well. I never did I think about songs about working would be this, well, majestic. It's almost a bookend to the working woman at the top here, so it was good.
Okay, did I already tell you what I thought?
No.
Okay, I just thought this was interesting and it works. I dug it. And now for Tempo 1 Orchestra. This was an interesting little bit. What did you think?
Yeah, it's a 30-second interlude, which is used to shift the focus to shanty here. Just 30 seconds of a little number.
Okay, what do you think of When You Ask a Working Man, men's chorus?
Shanty and a new character, Mr. Dingle, which is old white man here singing. Inappropriately, the male adult members of the choir I'm backing. Oddly, I didn't find this one quite as good as the ones about the working women. It was okay, but not quite as good.
Okay, but this part was interesting and I liked it. And now for Let's Find Ourselves a Little Hostelry, Mr. Dingle. What do you think of that?
That's white, glass, nothing, bass notes here. Great deep voice in that fella. And honestly, quite a bit more enjoyable than the previous track we made. I love the tuba work in this one, and there's enough little quirks to this track that made it a rather enjoyable listen. Overall, decent movement here, but not near the best.
Okay, I put this is a bit like Broadway, but it works and it brings a nice different sort of thing to this. Now for movement 7, Crisis. I put, it's Allegro Molto Orchestra. I put, it was rather short but impactful and I liked it quite a bit. What did you think?
It certainly matches the title of the movement, as it sounds as if a crisis is going down. Incredibly ominous, thunderous timpani work here. Also a bit short, but sets the scene well.
Okay. What do you think of The World You're Coming Into, Mary D?
Well, Mary D has one in the oven, and she's singing to the unborn child here. Honestly, most children will only hope their mothers sing this to them. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of music here. And we're off to a good start in this movement. Lovely song.
Okay, but this part was decent too. I enjoyed it. Now for Tempo 1 Orchestra. I liked it, but it was a bit short. What did you think?
An angry number. It seems to signify Shanty coming home from work. And he seems pissed. Well, at least the short song does. No, short song.
Okay, what did you think of Where's My Dinner?
Well, the previous makes sense as Shanty is one of them eats, and he isn't playing. Mary D apparently has an excuse, probably singing to her belly. Shanty isn't having it, and he's wanting them fiddles. Damn it. It's a wonderful duet here.
Okay, I put this was like an interesting blend of Fiddler on the Roof and Leon Cavallo. Unique, but it works. And now for Let's Not Argue, Shanty. I put it was a bit short, but it was somewhat like Rodgers and Hammerstein, and it was good. What did you think?
Now Mary D isn't having it, and Shanty is still pissed about his dinner. Spare me your excuses, she is singing with her heart out. Well, it's not the comedic without trying to be. I'm not sure that's what they went for, but it came across to me as comedic.
Okay, what did you think of I'm Not a Slave, Mary D?
Well, now Mary D is going off. This is the most dramatic movement completely. Mary D is going off on Shanty. You're going to get a drink with Mr. Dingle from the previous movement. That's what the last song was about. Well, there you go. Fuck your dinner, Shanty, you asshole. Yeah, you don't matter like you asked me, ass. Jokes aside, he ends if I'm not sure if you love me. That's pretty deep.
Okay, what did you think of Right, That's It, Mary D?
Well, now Mary D storms off, and she even speaks the words, oh, by the way, you're about to be a father. Short, sweet, and appropriate.
Okay, I put this was dramatic and interesting. I liked it. And now for Stop, Wait, chorus. This was nice dramatic music. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
Well, now Shanty gets it, man. It's time to man up, dude. About to be a father. A somber orchestrated piece and a strong one here. I dug it quite a bit.
Okay, what did you think of Do You Know Who You Are, Nurse?
Well, Sally Burgess is the nurse, and she's sending her heart out to stay by her side. To her and Mary D. And it becomes evident as the song goes on. Kind of questionable at first, but after a while you get it. And damn, she passed out in the street. This one is almost a little too narrative driven, and it's very melodramatic. A bit of fluff here, but well sung, but almost a bit too stereotypical in theme here.
Okay, I put this was rather eerie, but also good, and I liked it. And now for You're Sleeping Amongst Us, Ghosts. I put this bordered on being a bit like that Broadway stuff I am not a great fan of in classical music, but it escaped being like that, so it does still qualify as a piece I like. What did you think?
Choir coming in here, complete with Miss Burgess, Mr. Hadley, and Canola having solo vocal sections here. The good news is everything is good in Mary D world. Whatever accident she had, and the child will be fine. And damn, Canola shows out on this number. Fantastic track here. Wondering if this could be topped with the last track of the movement.
Okay. Now for Do You Live or Do We Live in a World, Mary D. What did you think of that?
This one is pure fall here. Has that McCartney feel for a better future all over it. I'm surprised he never tried any of these like in his piano ballad style. It might work. This one probably would. Reminds me of musically a little bit of his song Wanderlust. Perhaps it's the work of the horns and string arrangement. Overall, it's a strong movement. Even if you do know, this is a bit stereotypical and melodramatic, but it's strong movement. It was solid.
Okay. I didn't really like this part. It's back to the Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff. That was Do We Live in a World, right?
Yeah, old Andrew Lloyd.
All right.
Yeah.
Now for the last movement, movement 8. And Peace. And so it was that you were born. What did you think of that?
Okay. Oh, by the way, this is a live recording, which is most impressive. Shanty's a proud father here. Being one myself, I think McCartney nailed what that is all about here. The children's choir has an angelic thing going on, and it's an appropriate number that matches the theme wonderfully here.
Okay, I put this was interesting and I liked it pretty much. Now for God is Good, chorus. This was decent church music and I liked it. What did you think?
The male members of the choir step up here, and Lord will with these new parents here in the song, and then the full choir comes in. It's absolutely lovely to work on this number. Another short one, and it's pretty good, man. I thought it was great orchestration on it as well, so we're moving along nicely here.
Okay, and now for What People Want is a Family Life, Preacher. What did you think of that?
Yeah, pretty good stat. More great bass singing by Willard White here. Thematically, it suits up McCartney's alley. Great work on the choir here. Again, a bit melodramatic, but I don't find it the most melodramatic of the songs, just slightly so.
Okay, I put this was a bit like Anthony Newley and Leslie Bricue's. An interesting touch, and it works here. And now for Dad's in the Garden, He Won't Speak to Mum. Nurse, what did you think of that one?
The singing's fantastic on this one, very harmonized. but at this point of listening to it, which is kind of amazing because we only have one more song, but at this point I was getting a little bit, like, overwhelmed. Like, I don't know. Like, it was getting to be a bit old. Like, you could say the same thing.
Yeah. Kind of like you thought it would end and it was only halfway done.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Or a bit, or a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, did I tell you what I thought?
No.
Okay, I put this was interesting. It had a little bit of Broadway and classical in it, and it worked well. So yeah, that was what I thought. So, and now the last song. So on and on the story goes. Oh well, okay, well, I thought that was a nice, pleasant way to finish. I liked it. Okay, now what did you think?
Yeah, it wraps up a piece of the bow, and in essence, a circle of life theme here with this song. Wonderful duet with Hadley and Traynor, short but sweet, and we get applause, and it's over. The applause is kind of a surprise. Overall, the strengths are fairly easy to follow narrative for the album, and some wonderful playing. The weakness is a bit of stereotypical at points, the album is, and is slightly melodramatic. But for his first attempt at something classical, I can't complain. I know it's better than I could do. This is a solid B of an album for me. Not an A, but solid B.
Yeah, I'll say it was a A. Yeah, A, okay, like that. But no, I I liked about 3/4 of it very much. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. Yeah. Even though I would say only about maybe 80% was classical.
The length is classical.
Huh?
Apparently not. To me, the length is classical.
Yeah. To you, it's like any song that you don't like, that you have to sit through, is classical. I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you so much, Charles.
No problem.
All right.
I still think I'd recommend Standing Stone over this, though. If you want to listen to some Paul McCartney classical, that's just my remembrance.
All right.
But everybody, thanks for listening, and thanks for having me back.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.